want to thank everybody for coming out to our latest session. And before we begin, I'd like to start with the land acknowledgement. So I would like to acknowledge that the land in which our session is taking place today is on the traditional, unceded, and unsurrendered territory of the Anishinaabe and Algonquin people. Ottawa is home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to facilitate our work in this territory. As we continue on and think about digital equity in Ottawa, let us think about equity for all people. So I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Nick Hebb, Program Manager at Synapcity. And Synapcity, through civic education, events, and other facilitated activities, Synapcity connects people and institutions to share and collaborate on initiatives that aim to make Ottawa better, healthier, and more resilient. So we provide civic literacy, civic engagement opportunities that bring our residents together to contribute to the public good, well-building community. So we're excited to welcome our partners for this session. And tonight we will hear from Shireen Faza and Ruben Nishali from the Social Planning Council of Ottawa. And the SPCO are doing some incredible things in the digital equity space, including supporting the Digital Equity Ottawa Initiative, ensuring access devices for community organizations, and providing digital literacy education across the region. We'll hear from Andrew Marty Assar from the National Capital Freenet. We've got to give it up for Andrew. And they're a local nonprofit internet service provider, and since 1992, they've connected over 100,000 members. They believe in digital equity and that everyone in Canada's National Capital Region should have access to the internet. And lastly, I want to thank Incubator 13 Space for hosting us. And we're going to hear from Camilla Pastron, and she's going to talk about some of the work that they're doing to empower youth to reach their full potential through access to education, meaningful work experiences, personal economic development opportunities, and accessing this amazing space. So after each presentation, we do have some time for Q&A. If you're online with us, just add that into the chat. If you're here in the room, you can just stand up and ask your question. After the presentations, we're excited to hear from you, and we'll be inviting everyone into breakout sessions. So we'll chat about access to devices, access to the internet, and digital literacy. So we want to hear what's working in your community, what's working in your neighborhood. That's when you'll get a chance to give us some feedback. We've got some sticky notes, so if you've got some ideas you want to jot down, we'll have facilitators for each session. We'll be taking some notes, and we'll be inviting our speakers into those sessions as well. And for the online folks, we'll have some online facilitators too, so stick around for that. So without further ado, I want to welcome up our first two speakers, Shireen Faza and Ruben Nishali from the Social Planning Council.
Good afternoon. As we get the slides going, I would like to take the chance to introduce myself. My name is Ruben Nishali, and I work with the Social Planning Council of Ottawa. Okay, perfect. Thank you. As you can see on the presentation here, Social Planning Council of Ottawa is a non-profit organization in the city, and our main mission, or the mission of the organization, is to provide the residents of Ottawa with the means to exercise informed leadership on issues that affect their socio-economic well-being. And we do that through a range of pillar programs. And just like what I explained in the city, Social Planning Council of Ottawa has been an innovation hub or a landing place for many organizations. SPC has 4 pillars, and we believe in the 4 pillars as outlined there. One of which is community economic development. Another one is access to basics, inclusion, as well as the last one is which is supporting vulnerable sector. Among the 4 pillars of Social Planning Council of Ottawa, one of which is the access to basics. And within the access to basics pillar falls the digital equity. Social Planning Council has been doing a lot in that space. And the work we do in digital equity really significantly increased during the pandemic. This is not a new story to everyone here, but we all know how COVID-19 transformed the community we live in, and how we had to change some of our programs and how we deliver programs. And through that, we really noticed the significance of equitable digital equitable digital accessibility in the community. And through digital equity or equity in digitally, we use that platform as a way to tackle digital divide, so that people can really address social issues like employment rate, unemployment, employment, health, and even socioeconomic issues that they may be experiencing. Through the pillar of access to basics and digital equity, we, as Social Planning Council of Ottawa, has been delivering some of the projects in the community. And because I know some of our partners here will come and talk of, we will talk about connectivity. I will spend my time describing the 3 pillars of what we do. One of the main pillars that we do at the Social Planning Council of Ottawa is the digital devices or distribution of devices through grants and public funds, and sometimes through partnerships. We've been distributing devices to marginalized or community members, vulnerable community members that may be in need of those devices, but are in a financial hardship that they cannot attain those devices. Through the pandemic and up until 2022, we developed a partnership with the City of Ottawa. And with that partnerships, we are able to receive so far close to 200 refurbished computers. And what we do is we receive these refurbished computers from the city, and we refurbish them. We reset the operation systems, install functional operation systems, do a troubleshoot of any like issues like battery issues or screens and other issues. Then we distribute the community through a common request form that we have on our website. The key challenge, and you can see from the pandemic up until now, we've distributed around 344 devices. And one of the key challenges that we encounter through this project is when we launched the project, of course, the information went to the community, and everyone with the computer needs came out asking for computer. And on our waiting list so far, I think they're close to 500 people on the waiting list. And measuring the amount of stock received and against the list of demand, the program is experiencing a little bit of a stretch. And what we do sometimes, an organization will come or family will come asking for 10 laptops or 2 laptops, 1 tablets and other devices. Then you provide 1 laptop and plus any other thing that we have. The other piece that we do mostly is the Repair Cafe. And the Repair Cafe came after launching the device distribution program. And because after the first 6 months of device distribution, what we noticed was that then people, especially particularly those who receive those devices, will go home and we will tell them, like, if you experience any issue, just bring them back, and we will either change or repair the computer. And what we noticed, there were some issues, or not just on accessing electronic devices, but on the use of those devices. And sometimes even the need for a simple technical repair, like the kids will be touching the computers and all of a sudden the screen turned upside down. And then they panic, they don't know how to turn it around. Then they bring it to the office upstairs, and we have youth who are dedicated in the repair cafe, providing the technical repair of the computers. Or sometimes water is poured into a computer and now the keyboard is not working. Then they bring it there. We have the repair cafe youth who have both the hard and soft skills that the program needs, and what they do, like they've helped in changing batteries, changing screen of a computer, changing the keyboards, or changing motherboards, or sometimes, and sometimes when the problem is over what the young people can do, then we refer them now to whether replace the computer or refer them to repair shops if it's doable. The other piece that I will not talk about, but rather I will introduce Shireen, and before I introduce her, is the digital literacy. We do a lot on the digital literacy, and the digital literacy, those are training we provide for people with no or with limited literacy skills, computer literacy skills. And I will leave that piece to Shireen to come and discuss, but what I really want to emphasize is that Social Planning Council of Ottawa is a backbone organization in the city. And what we do the most is we always work to create a space so that as community, as stakeholders in the community, we can pull out resources and our energy together so that we continue doing what we are doing. We deliver all these amazing programs, but at a large scale and a large capacity. And that's why when Nick told me of this event, I was like, oh, this is an amazing event. One, this is a nice place for stakeholders like yourself and people following online who are interested in the digital equity space or who are working in the digital equity space, so that we can all sit around and see how we can pull our energy together or pull our resources together so that we can continue making a significant impact in the community and continue the good work that we are doing. So thank you so much, and looking forward to the discussion. Let me introduce the amazing Shireen.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jean, and I work as the Digital Literacy Connector for Ethnocultural Seniors. Nice to meet everyone today. So our digital literacy program has started in 2022. So the mission is to break social isolation and enabling seniors to connect with family and loved ones through the digital literacy program. So in January 2022, we started the program. It was quite challenging to learn seniors how to use the technology remotely. So we started with 5 ethnocultural seniors. And at that time, I started to do the outreach, either to reach out to community centers, settlement organizations, or reach out to ethnocultural seniors across Ottawa. During that pilot time, I started to develop teaching resources according to the need of the seniors. So the modules were tailored based on the digital need of ethnocultural seniors. So at that time, I started to do one-on-one support. All of these things were through Zoom. Then we started to do group training. Through the group training, I used to have interpreters who can translate or interpret to their communities, because it was very challenging to speak English for the seniors. In the meantime, I was trying my best to speak basic English. Even the basic English was challenging for the seniors. So we said, okay, we're gonna go for interpreters who can gonna help us to train the seniors. Also, I used the designing posters for the programs and recruiting volunteers. So we started to design posters and to tailor the posters based on the needs of every community. So each community leader, they can pass on or post the designs on their social media platforms. Then we had the following up with community leaders on a regular basis. So every time we have to meet with them to ask them about how it's going with the seniors, are they benefiting from the program, and if there is an obstacles or things that we can work and improve it. And we used to send out surveys and satisfaction forms. So before starting the module, I used to send surveys in order to have an idea and evaluate the digital literacy level of the seniors. And afterward, asking for satisfaction forms in order to improve and work on our training. Thank you. So these a couple of posters that we worked on it. So as you can see in the first one, we used to train Zoom, WhatsApp, Facebook, Facebook and Messenger, Gmail, cybersecurity, and another things based on the needs of the seniors. So I taught them Instagram, how to use Google Maps, how to get on the bus and how to navigate the road, how to do e-transfers, even though it was so super sensitive for them, how to Google up things or how to search something on YouTube, especially the recent news. The second thing that I did, also at that time, I was working as a settlement counselor part-time. So most of the clients that I met, they don't have status in Canada. So I was feeling sorry for them at that time that they need the digital literacy. However, there is no settlement organization can help them because most of the programs should be supported by RCC. So it came to my mind, how about we can reach out to refugee women or women who don't have any status in Canada. And I started to teach them the digital literacy across Canada. And at that time, I got around 30 participants who do not have any status in Canada. And I started to teach them the hands-on experience, either was it virtually or one-on-one. Also, we have the third one, the digital literacy for seniors. So it was at the because at that time we were planning to support seniors who are 55 and plus. Then we started to expand the knowledge and have everyone under the umbrella of digital equity. And as you can see here, starting from April 2022, up to now, we have the sustainability stage. So far, we have around 25 agricultural groups across Ottawa. Then we started the community leadership. So volunteers now have started to train the seniors on their own. So they can go to a public space, they can rent a space in the library, and they start to learn the seniors. Also, I have trained the trainers. So I have meetings with the community leaders and I teach them effective tools, how to teach the seniors and keep them up to date. The fourth stage is using technology effectively in a way that meets their needs, whether they need in terms of social isolation or to bridge the gap with the different generations. The fifth stage, in terms of sustainability, we have the launching program on SPCO. So if you go to the Social Planning Council of Ottawa, you will find all of the modules and learning tools under the Social Planning Council of Ottawa website page. And so far, we still provide ongoing support to trainers, just in case a new platform came up, so I can teach them and they can feel up to date and expand the knowledge to the seniors. So here are some of the teaching tools that I used to teach the seniors, because at the very beginning it was so difficult to teach them how to use different gadgets, because I don't know, like I was not familiar with all kinds of gadgets. In the meantime, I don't know how is the display on their screen and whether they like hitting the right thing or not. So at the very beginning, I used the two-screen sharing. We used to meet on Google Meet and use share screen so they can see my Zoom screen and see what's going on the screen. Like here you can mute yourself, turn off your camera, screen sharing using the whiteboard. So it was an effective way in order to show them what's going on the screen. The second thing for iOS users, use screen mirroring. So I use to mirror my screen whether I'm using my iPad or my iPhone. So I can mirror my Instagram page or my Facebook account so they can follow along with me. And we have the third technique, which is some screenshots. So at the very beginning, we started to do a virtual training and recently we're doing one-on-one support either in community centers or at the Social Planning Council of Ottawa office. So the impact of program on seniors, that we are bringing community leaders together under the community development program. The second thing, we are enhancing digital skills and knowledge of seniors, and I'm so astonished that they are reliable and they can expand the information and the knowledge to the seniors across the communities. And the most important thing is bridging the generational gap among seniors and youth. And for seniors, it was surprising that they have youth trainers. Like for me, they consider me as youth, that I can connect with them and I can teach them, because there was a concern that our family do not have the patience to teach us. So they were craving and thirsty for knowledge through someone from the Social Planning Council of Ottawa. And as you can read here, we have a couple of testimonials from different communities. And as you can see here, we have the formula of success. So we have the community development. So seniors now are applying what they learned effectively in their daily life. And now also we have the leadership, so volunteers are running the digital trainings on their own, and they can expand the information to more leaders. And in terms of connectivity, the seniors now are overcoming the barrier of intergenerational interaction. So as I mentioned, we provided one-on-one support, and we have the community group online training and the personal one. And also we share helpful, resources for anyone who's asking for something else to learn. So this is in a nutshell, the digital literacy program of agricultural seniors. Thank you.
Next, I'm going to welcome Andrew from the National Capital Freenet. And Andrew is the Business and Community Development Manager over there. And it's a nonprofit internet service provider that believes that digital equity includes the right to affordable, high-quality connectivity. Andrew is developing a free community Wi-Fi pilot for neighborhoods facing higher inequities and other new services, and wants to make sure NCF can offer everyone the ability to harness the digital skills and tools they need to fully participate in the community. So give it up for Andrew, and he's going to go through what the National Capital Freenet's all about.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me. It's exciting to be here. So I'm going to be talking about the digital equity, mostly about connectivity, but I'll touch on some other things that National Capital Freenet does as well, and we'll speak to digital skills and a few other digital equity issues. We can go to the next slide. So National Capital Freenet, or NCF. Oh, you can skip the next slide. We've been an alternate internet service provider. We provide internet services and other digital equity supports. We've been around since 1992, so we'll be 31 years this year. We came out of a project at Calton. Since then, we've connected over 100,000 members, and we currently are serving about 4,500 members actively. Most of which are in the National Capital Region, but we also have a few members who start here and decide to move elsewhere, but then take our service with them. We are not for profit, so we are an internet service provider. We sell internet as a non-profit, and so we reinvest any kind of margins we make from selling of the internet into improving the services that we provide, and also into providing more services for the community. Okay. So different elements of digital equity, and we've touched on some of them today, and so just kind of wanted to highlight them again. So that there's affordable, high quality internet at home, and the opportunity to use free public connectivity outside of the home, access to connected devices, whatever the resident or community person needs, that people have the digital skills to access the internet and use those connected devices as well in a way that's meaningful. And so they should be able to stay in touch with their family, be able to access government services, be able to even access entertainment for their mental health and their mental well-being, and also to be secure online and to have their digital privacy respected, and to know how to navigate that, and also to be free from online harassment as well. So why does digital equity still matter? I'm going to talk about this from a connectivity standpoint, because there's kind of a narrative out there, and if you listen to the narrative, you think that we are close to solving the digital equity problem. Canada put in place I can't remember the exact name, but a digital connectivity strategy, I think, in 2019, and spent and committed about $3 billion plus to close the digital divide. And we are on our way towards a goal of solving the digital divide by 2030. And that's the narrative. Currently, supposedly, 93.5% of Canadians have access to internet services. Actually, if you look at the map down there, in Quebec, supposedly everybody has access to internet services. So what's happening? When we look at other sources, like on Acorn Study, some people, even when they have internet services at home, are having to make other essential trade-offs to be able to afford to be online. So they're sacrificing food and some other essential services like medication, etc., to be able to be online. So it looks like the gap is closing, and that's kind of what is being reported. But the reality as to how people are prioritizing the internet shows how important it is. It also shows that there's equity dynamic that still needs to be solved. So part of what's happening behind kind of the nerdy part of that conversation is that those maps report service availability. They report that there is service within X number of blocks of your home. You don't report those are actually connected to the internet. But service availability does not equal access. And we kind of we know this. So internet prices are continuing to increase in Canada, and they keep going up. If you're in rural, remote and indigenous communities, access is even lower. Service availability is an issue, but even once you get connected in those communities, it's really, really expensive. Like paying $250 for a Starlink connection is not digital equity. So getting service available to people is important, but being able to address affordability as well is very important. We have a few telecom providers that dominate the market. Over 85% of our market places by incumbents. That's a start from 2018, so it's probably much worse today. And so people have a lack of choice. And so for most people, when you don't have choice in what providers you can be using, it means that you don't have choice in terms of the quality of the service you're getting, the diversity of the service that you're getting, and also the affordability of the service that you're getting. So two things that kind of highlight this really well. Over the last 8 years, not the last 8 years, 8 years of stats that are available. I double checked this in April. Between 2013 and 2021, internet prices on average went up 50% in Canada. On average. So when the average price of internet in 2013 was about $44.50, and as of 2021, it was $66.95, so almost $67. Actually, it kind of paused a little bit during COVID. So I'm curious to see what the newer data is going to show, how much more it's increased. But also, in particular, in the last 18 months, there's been a buying spree by the large telecom companies, and they're picking up lots of independent companies or independent alternates to them. So some of these providers that you would have heard about in the past, Distributel, eBox, vMedia, Oxio, Ultima, all are still operating with the front of being an independent provider or competitor, but they've been bought by a big telecom company in the last 18 months. So what do we do to address digital equity as a nonprofit ISP here in the National Capital Region? The first thing for us is just to be an excellent internet service provider that provides affordable internet connectivity to everyone. So we sell internet plans from 5 megabits per second to a gigabit per second for homes. And we try to keep our prices as low as possible. So what this means for us is, yes, we're selling internet services, but any additional money that we get, as I mentioned earlier, gets reinvested into providing like a really stable, high quality network, or it gets reinvested into the community. We also operate the Community Access Fund, which is a subsidized program with Ottawa Community Housing. And by subsidized, I don't mean the government subsidizes, we subsidize it. So we provide Ottawa community residents with a 6 megabit plan at lower cost than what we actually are paying suppliers for. And then we have an award-winning help desk that combines both staff and volunteers to provide support to those that we serve. And we like to say we try to answer every question. So you don't call our help desk and say, oh, that is your TV provider's problem, go deal with Samsung, right? As much as we can solve a problem, if somebody's calling to us, we try to help them figure out what the problem is and address it that way. We're also trying to ensure internet affordability as an advocate, because we need more people to be speaking up about the fact that internet prices keep going up in Canada, and we seem to be okay with it. So we engage with the CRTC directly on issues related to affordability. Other issues, but mainly our main focus is on affordability. There's currently a CRTC proceeding underway where they're willing to look at everything that impacts broadband internet connectivity in Canada, and the deadline for submission on that is June the 22nd. So we've submitted to the last two proceedings related to that, and we're going to be submitting to that one as well. We co-founded Digital Access Day in 2018, and we had about 200 people attend at the City Hall. We co-founded Digital Equity Ottawa with SPCO and continue to be working on that, trying to reinvigorate that and have more people partner with us on how we can improve digital equity here in the city. And we also have plans for being able to provide community Wi-Fi in the city as well. One other thing that I would mention, if you're maybe kind of new to the topic, like to think about what's happening with digital equity, think about it from different perspectives like privacy, security, digital skills, etc. We used our 30th anniversary to launch a digital time capsule. We had contributions from so many people, including one person in the room, Luke, about what digital equity can look like over the next 30 years. And we put all of that on our website at ncf.ca/time capsule. So you can watch those videos and learn about different perspectives. Luke Lalonde was kind to join us for an interview with that. We had so many other people. Connected Canadians actually joined us as well. I can't remember all the names now. But yeah, 30 different videos, myself included, on what the future of digital equity can look like for us. So affordable connectivity is really important, and it's kind of one of the things that we honestly spend most of our time working on. But also, we realize that we need to help people to develop the digital skills to use the internet once they are connected to it. And so we've been working on this mainly through our help desk. It's what we are doing every day, answering people's questions, helping them solve problems. Yes, related to their connectivity, but also just related to their use of the internet and devices related to that. We've run many different digital skills workshops in the past, and on like teaching people how to apply for the Ontario Energy Support Program, teaching people how to apply for the Canada Learning Bond, and even showing them how to apply for it, even if they cannot put their own money into RSP, so they can get some money from the government for their kids. Train them to use so many different online services as well, how to save online, use free open source software, use software in a way that allows them to continue to protect their privacy, and also to know what those trade-offs are when you're using free technology. Which ones care about your privacy and security, and when you're making compromises with that. We have some new workshops coming up in the fall, so you can stay tuned on our website or on our social media platforms. And then we also have this summer have a project where a lot of the older workshops that we've done, we're kind of packaging them in ways that are easier for kind of snackable versions for people to be able to take away and use and learn from as well. Then we also are looking at community connectivity. And part of what we are very kind of familiar with and abreast with are the challenges of running an internet service provider in the market that we are in, and be able to make the prices as affordable as we can. We kind of have optimized that as much as we can. And then we advocate with the CRTC to try to get access to more homes and more places so we can make that even better. But we also identify the fact that in some communities, using the existing structures that we have don't work. And so we're trying to find ways to work, provide connectivity more directly and make it even more affordable. So one plan for doing that is to build a community wireless network. And this is to be able to provide connectivity of really high speeds. And where we have expertise is in contracting for large internet pipes, for lack of a better description, of gigabit to 10 gigabit capacity, and even more if needed, and being able to set up equipment that runs with that. So our plan is to build a wireless network, bring an internet pipe of that kind of capacity into a community, set up antennas on buildings, and because we have an existing partnership with OCH, and they have lots of tall buildings, we would like to put up antennas on their buildings and be able to broadcast internet to the surrounding community. Most of the services, the technology that can do this, provide internet this way, able to provide internet connectivity for up to 30 kilometers. We are looking at neighborhoods where we want to have service provided in about a 5-kilometer range, because we want to maintain a high quality of internet service and make sure that it's as comparable to what we would have at home as possible. And so we are looking at equipment that can provide above 100 megabits second speeds within that kind of range. And the two kind of pilots that we're looking at, one is a building that's right across the street from here, is 800 Sonora, and being able to pilot a project there is one that we are planning on. And the other one is in Lower Town at 380 Mary Avenue. And we're working and planning towards this, and we're looking to build partnerships to be able to make us build these networks. So I took a picture of 800 Sonora and just trying to give you a sense of what it looks like. I've been on that rooftop a few times. It's an amazing view, by the way. I have some other pictures I can show, but it's a great location because it's a high rise in a place that has not too many other tall buildings, and so you're able to beam internet signals down from there, and we're able to have a receiving device on the other end that receives the signal and then creates a Wi-Fi hub in that location. And because this we actually work with the SPCO to identify communities in Ottawa that had inequity, and so they helped us narrow these communities where there's lots of community organizations that are serving groups with high inequity, and so we can create different spots in the city where we provide free community Wi-Fi for them. And so all of that is under planning right now. So the other part of that equation is finding those locations with community partners, connecting to those locations, and being able to provide good connectivity there as well. And so for us, it's again trying to leverage what we know, large internet network pipes, bringing them to community hubs with community partners across the city, and being able to provide competitive services to them, where we're able to separate out connectivity from your staff, because they needed like a secure network to connect on, from clients and from the public, do it in a secure way, and then working with partners to figure out what is the best way of making that, of designing a network and putting that in place. So for instance, in Lower Town, in some of our initial conversations, they mentioned they would love to have connectivity in their community garden, right outside the Lower Town Community Resource Center, but for security reasons, want that connectivity to be turned off late at night, because they don't want people to be gathering there and using it kind of nefariously. So part of, I think, the advantage to working with NCF and kind of planning these projects is that we're actually working with community partners and social enterprises and asking questions of how can we build this in a way that works well for you and your clients that you serve in the community. So for us, a community connectivity model kind of balances those things. The service that is provided needs to be very high performing and needs to be affordable. And in some situations where it's like community hubs, it's free Wi-Fi. We need to build strong partnerships with community partners who have similar thinking to the way we think and learn from them on what best serves their clients. And then we also need to provide digital skills training for people in the community to be able to help us build out the network and maintain the network. So in our planning, we're looking at ways in which we can bring on youth or other populations to teach them about building networks, about running them in ways that are secure and protects people's privacy, and then to train them how to help us run the network as well. So in a certain sense, NCF is kind of returning to its roots. We started connecting people about 30 years ago, and we were connecting people directly ourselves, and we're using dial-up and telnet and all sorts of fancy, great technologies at the time. We actually used to run dial-up connections through the city hall. And so at the end of the day, when the city hall shut down, way back when, dial-up connections were being run through them when they were not using their phone lines anymore. Then we moved to a different model, and we still continue to operate that model where we work with other suppliers to provide connectivity through DSL and cable, etc. But we've done that 20 plus years, and we kind of have that optimized. And want to go back to building more in the community and be able to make the connectivity that we provide even more affordable and in certain instances free as well. And so we're planning on building that out, and we kind of want to call more people to help us in our planning and finding the right funding and find the right communities to build in as well. So that is my contact information. Andrew Matiasari. Reach out to me about any of the stuff that we have provided. The slides are prepared. Love to talk to you about digital skills development, about connectivity, affordable connectivity programs, and we'll love to talk to people who are interested in helping us build out this community connectivity project as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Great work that you're doing there at NCF. Nick, did we have any online questions? There you go. Do we have any questions in the audience? Yep.
In 2001, I started a listserv for a small community. And, you know, we're talking about community, and you're talking about community. And when I started it, I went to Magma, and I asked, oh, we're nonprofit, could you host it for us? And they said yes. And then they got bought by Primus, and then Primus got bought by Rogers. And now I'm still 21 years later, I'm in a big problem with Rogers doing something. But you're talking about serving the community, but how do, you know, a small technology like hosting a listserv actually helps substantiate and build the community, not just me to the hub, but us to each other. Oh, my dog is lost. You know, I need a babysitter. Little things like that. And I think either the city should be having a digital infrastructure that could host listservs for all communities and interest groups, or somebody like Freenet. It seems you already have the capability. And if you could host listservs and offer technical and training for listserv managers, because the manager of the listserv would come from the community. That's a really good marketing idea. It helps the community become alerted to Freenet, but because it helps build, actually make community roots. Have you thought of that? Or trying to turn this into a question.
There you go. Thanks, John. That was a great question.
So it's a wonderful question, and I'm sorry, I didn't touch on everything we do. We do host listservs. So that's something that we currently do, and so we can have a conversation about that. I don't remember exactly when it was, maybe about maybe even 4 years ago. We migrated all of the listservs that we had which we host for our members, onto a newer platform that is much easier to use and much easier to manage. And you're right, like providing training for that would be wonderful. So let's have that conversation. It's something we do. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So I'm very ignorant about the subject matter. So here's my question. What is the biggest obstacle to making sure everybody has quality internet connection? Is it like government ineptitude? Is it corporate greed? And the second part of the question is, and I'm genuinely curious, how do you, and I guess others as well, determine what is unfair? And I ask this because I know that we pay high for internet speed here, but when I'm talking to somebody in another country and their internet is always choppy, I say to myself, we pay a lot for the internet, but maybe that's the price that you have to pay in order to make sure you have a connection better than the connection on the other side of the world. You know what I mean? So how do we decide what's fair and what's not fair?
That's a very good question. I'm going to give a lot of opinion here, and this disclaimer, this is me. So I think if you want to have a conversation about what is fair in terms of internet pricing, we should compare ourselves to countries like us. So if you look at internet services in OECD countries, our prices are expensive comparatively. Part of what we've been told is that because Canada is a large landmass, for us to cover all of it, all of us need to pay more so that all of Canada can be covered well. I think we need to question that logic a lot, like a lot. So for the providers who dominate the market, they don't spend a lot of time building out connectivity in those parts of the country anyways. And a 50% price jump on average in 8 years is a lot of increase. If you compare us to the UK, they have their prices stable, or in the last 3-4 years, some of the prices have actually come down on average. So compared to the countries that we should be comparing ourselves to, we are not. I don't think we are doing well. And I think there's a really kind of candid conversation that we need to have as to what's fair pricing for NCF. Part of it is it's fair for people to pay for the internet, and it's supposed to be affordable. And so, as much as we can make the prices affordable, it's good to have people pay for the internet. We also need to have an honest conversation as to those who cannot pay for the internet and what is costing us as a community to have them not be online, or to have them be online where they're trading food or medicine to be online. And so I don't think we are having that conversation honestly in this country. And what is the problem? I think most of it is a kind of a narrative problem between the government and big telecom. And we kind of need to break away the narrative has been told to date. So like you see the 95%, 93.5% access number, and it seems like we are 6.5% away from solving the problem, and we are nowhere close to it. So that's a lot of opinion from me.
We've got another question here. We've got Charles.
So thank you very much. That was a very interesting presentation. I like that a lot. I think I took note when you're like, oh, we got to compare ourselves to like-minded, like countries, and said the UK, because I don't think we look like the UK at all. But I do really like your idea of the free community Wi-Fi, and I think for me, I agree that there's all sorts of work that is being done, especially for low-income Canadians, to provide them with low-income internet from big telecom providers. So that's being happened. But I understand that there's people who can't even afford that, and so I think that your model sounds very, very, very interesting. What's the goal? Where are we like if you had unlimited resources but in a world that we actually can see, what does NCF look like in 5-10 years? And I'd just be interested to hear about where are we going.
Great question, Charles. Let me get the mic over to Andrew.
So Executive Director is here, Shelley, but I'm going to talk about the goal for NCF. For us, it's simply this, that everybody in the region should be connected to the internet, irrespective of what they can pay for it. So if they can pay $50 a month, they should have connectivity that allows them to do everything online fully for that price. And if somebody cannot pay, then they should have that as well. We have lots of specialized programs that exist right now without choice. If the government, for instance, said, we will give you a transferable credit, pick your provider. NCF would love that because it means that people could choose us and have an already lower price and subsidized for them because they cannot afford it. What's been happening to date is like, so there's some deals struck in some back room somewhere, and then that's packaged as a program with either it's done through a lottery or it's time-based, and so it's going to expire at some point in time, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen once that date comes. Like, give people the choice of picking local providers. Some people would have to pay, like I pay full price for internet, I'm happy to do it. Some people cannot. If the government provided some kind of subsidy like that and allow people to pick where they go, we will be happy with that. Oh, lots of questions.
Yes, great presentation, Andrew. We got another question from Anjali.
Hi. So I was thinking, do you think we should bring back internet cafes? They used to exist until I think like, I don't know, I guess they shut down and stayed. I guess our priorities changed and most people start to have like their own personal computers at home. But do you think that we should bring back some sort of community centers or internet cafe situation to help the community?
Basically, yes. When we talk about connected community hubs, that's what we're talking about. People who cannot afford to have internet at home, and there isn't some program that allows them to provide internet service to them at home at really affordable rates or even free, need a place to connect. For us, the way we know to do that is to build through partnerships, build through organizations that look like us, and try to provide them with internet connectivity for their staff, but also expand that to be able to provide stuff for the public as well. And we'll love to do that in pretty much every nonprofit and every social enterprise that exists in Ottawa. If we could get that going, we would love to, and even beyond that. So libraries, community centers, but just about any nonprofit or social enterprise you go into and around their premises, we'd love for that to be free connectivity there that's secure for people to use, and we are not selling your data to anyone.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Great presentation, very inspirational, and a good choice of shirt today. We didn't do that on purpose, but it sometimes happens on a nice hot day. So we're going to bring up our final presenter, and then we're going to get into some small group discussions. So right now we have Camilla from the Incubator space. And thanks so much to Camilla for hosting us today, helping sponsor this session. Camilla's going to talk a little bit about the work what the Incubator 13 is doing around their digital skills, and I'll get her slides fired up right now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our space. I'm Camila. I'm the coordinator of Incubator 13. Thank you, Nick, for choosing Incubator 13 to host this session here because, after 3 years, 4 years already, since Incubator 13 started, we've been working on how to help youth to improve their digital skills. As many organizations, companies, individuals, we also were hit by COVID, and we had to improve, change our services in order to support youth. So let's start with what is Incubator 13 before going into how we do it. We are an employment and entrepreneurship hub for youth here in Ottawa. We work under the mission and operations of the Rideau Rockcliffe Community Resource Center. So you can go to the next one, or the next one. How our services or our program is kind of organized. So we help youth under 3 different categories: training and education, and employment and entrepreneurship, work integrated learning experiences, which comprehends internships, and access to resources. So infrastructure, contacts or network, devices. You can go to the next one. So before COVID, how Incubator 13 was established was as an entrepreneurship hub for youth. We were helping youth to start with their businesses. But when COVID hit, we noticed that many of those youths were not ready to start with their business plans. Many of those youth were looking for to cover their backs because they lose their jobs. Some of them were at risk of being disconnected, and some of them were already disconnected. So we said, okay, how we can fill that out gap? Because the digital gap was really evident by then. Even though internet, for how long it has been existing, more than 60, 80 years already. But not only until 3 years we start noticing that inequity there. Okay, go next. So these are the kind of things we start to evidence or realizing were happening among our youth. Disparities, not being able to participate in the economy, in the democracy as well. So digital skills is not only to work in the ICT sector, it's to participate in our community, right? So we will start implementing activities, projects that help our youth to reconnect with the community, to reconnect with the job market. You can go to the next one. How did we improve those three initial categories that we established here at Incubator 13? So in the training side, besides offering that essential professional development, like how to write a resume, how to present an interview, how to polish your communication skills, we implemented digital skills training here. So now we have more than 5 different clubs where youth can learn about coding, 3D design, robotics. Right now we are kind of exploring artificial intelligence art with our innovator in residence here, Luc Lalande, as well. How did we improve the work integrated learning experience? So we expand our internships program. And since 2020, we have been hiring youth to work with the different social enterprises at our organization. Here we have one of our former interns here. Up to date, we have hired more than 150 youth who were able to improve not only their professional skills, their fundamental professional skills, but were able to reconnect with the community and improve their digital skills so they can rejoin the labor market. We also have Charity 13. It's a social enterprise that started more or less a year ago, a pilot project where we were bringing youth with the IT skills to support other organizations, to support other programs, thanks to their knowledge and thanks to the skills that they build with us. And in terms of resources, this space was closed for already 2 years. So until we were able to open, we were helping youth accessing computers. We jumped into the same adventure as Ruben were mentioning, collecting donations, fixing those computers. But because we are a really small team here at Incubator 13, we didn't have the capacity because we received, after a week of opening the program, we received more than 120 applications requesting computers, cell phones. So it's like, whoa, this is a monster. But it means that the need is out there. We need to keep working towards bridging that gap. Youth can come here if they don't have access to internet at their home. They can work from here. Our interns can work from here if they don't feel comfortable working at home, if they want to take a break of working at home, or if their internet is not good enough so they can complete their internship. Devices and materials. Slowly, we have been turning this space into a maker space. So you see over there, we have a 3D printer, we have a heating press over there. Our youth are not only learning how to use them for entertainment purposes or just to upgrade their skills, but also to start businesses. So we are inviting them to interact with technology, to incorporate technology, so they can come with new ideas, different ideas. Because one thing is just being at your home, watching a video, oh yes, how cool is virtual reality. But have you ever interacted with a goggle, with goggles? Have you ever touched a Cricut? Do you know the components of a Cricut? Do you know what you can do? I think that experience is what opens your mind, and that's what we are trying to do here. Giving them access to those devices and inviting them to dream and to create new things. And back there, you see Market 13. This, not long ago, like 2 months ago, it was one of our projects where we working with local entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, we were helping them to sell their products through Shopify. So we were kind of onboarding them into this world of e-commerce. Because before that, people like, yes, e-commerce existed, but they didn't see the need to join those kind of platforms. So during COVID, we were teaching them, okay, how you can leverage these kind of tools. And we were opening that door as well by providing access to this kind of tool. So in a nutshell, what we do here and after the transformation of Incubator 13, after COVID-19, we are equipping youth with the skills, with the resources that they need to join this digital revolution, which is just starting. Like on the news, you see every day something new about artificial intelligence, how the labor market is changing. I don't know if you've seen, but our provincial government is looking to implement something that is called Ontario Digital Services, which is transforming the government into a platform. Can our youth join that, accessing those services, interacting with the government, accessing the jobs that are available, accessing the economic opportunities out there? So we are trying to support youth with these kind of resources and connecting with all of you, with different organizations. These kind of sessions help to bring our youth together and be aware of the situation. I don't know if you have any questions, but yeah, that will be everything.
Hey, thanks so much, Camilla. Do we have any questions? Any online questions? All good. Well, thanks so much, everybody. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll strike the camera. Those online are invited to stick around. We've got a couple online moderators, so we'll open up the Zoom so everyone can unmute there. In the room, I want to take a bit of a quick poll. If you're interested to talk about access to devices, raise your hand. Okay, if you're interested in access to internet, we know we had a lot of questions on that. Access to internet. Okay, we've got a few. And how about digital literacy? The rest on digital literacy. So I think what it makes sense is maybe to have two groups. We'll have a digital literacy down here, and then upstairs we'll do access to the internet. So we'll divide up into two groups. We've got some more food there. Online, you can sort of chat about those different topics. We've got some more food here, so please do grab it. I don't want to take any food home. And then we'll break off into some discussion groups and have a good little chat until the end of the night there. So thanks so much, everybody. This has been a great Synapcity session, and we'll enjoy the breakout sessions. Thanks to Lise and Glennis online who are going to moderate that session. And we'll sign off from this and invite you over to our breakout groups. Thanks so much, everybody.